right? So now this second unit is completely about data pre-processing. Under data pre-processing, you are going to learn introduction of data pre-processing and what are the tasks of data pre-processing. Okay. That under the tasks, you are going to learn data cleaning, data integration, data reduction, data transformation, and data discretization. These are the overall topics in your second unit. Okay, completely you have only five topics. First one is just introduction of the data pre-processing here. Okay, up to here. So data pre-processing and overview data quality. If we'll discuss this one, this is the first topic in our second unit. Coming to the other topics, second topic is data cleaning. Okay, data cleaning, data integration, data reduction, data transformation, and discretization. These all four topics coming under a major tasks in data pre-processing. Right? So this is the complete topics of your second unit. Clear? In today's class, we are going to learn the introduction, the overview of data pre-processing, and also we are going to discuss the first major task, that is data cleaning. We are going to discuss about even data cleaning also. These two topics I'm going to cover in today's class. First of all, what is data pre-processing? Okay, data pre-processing is one of the data mining technique. What it is? Data pre-processing technique is one of the data mining technique. As you know that in data mining, we have multiple number of techniques are there to process the database data here. Among them, data pre-processing is also one of the technique. So what is the purpose of this data pre-processing? Okay, which is used to transform the raw, which is used to transform the raw data in a useful and efficient format. Why are we going for a concept of data pre-processing here? Okay, it is one of the data mining technique. This technique is used to transform the raw information, raw data, whichever is stored in our databases. The total raw information should be transformed into a useful and efficient format. Here we are going to convert a raw information into a efficient information, useful information. That is the purpose of this data pre-processing technique. Clear? Yes. Why are we going for data pre-processing? What is the need to apply data pre-processing on database data? What is the need? So to maintain data quality or to measure data quality. Okay, if you want to transform the unuseful information into a useful information. Okay, by using that only we can predict the future, isn't it? Till now we have discussed about data mining and data mining techniques also. The main purpose of the data mining technique is for prediction of future or it's for decision making, isn't it? So when we are going to take a decision on that particular data, if that particular data is accurate, it has some accurate information and it gives the complete information and it is completely, it has everything is, I mean, consistent and it is a updated information and it's a true information. So which kind of data follows, okay, these measures? Then that data has a qualitative data. What is the meaning of quality of your data? Which data gives the accurate results to a customer? Okay, it should be a correct, or it should be a, I mean, whether it may be correct or not, whatever the data we have, okay, that should be a accurate one, isn't it? So which kind of data gives the accurate information related to particular for something? Then the data is called a qualitative one. And second one, so it should be a complete one. Okay, this means it's not a recorded one or unavailable one. So what is the data is there with us? That should be a complete. And next, it must a consistent. Okay, so it must have it should be filled with all the type of things within it. Okay, and coming to the fourth one, timeliness. Timeliness in the sense it is updated one. If you want to use some data, if you have a old 2010 data, means is it useful for today's scenario? No. Okay, if you want to estimate our weather, then you are going to take the 2020 information, or at least 2019 information that may be matched to 2021 what weather report. But if you will take 10 years old data or 20 years old data, that not may match to a today's scenario, isn't it? Whether the data is updated every day, that should be useful for us. Next, believable. How much the data has the frankness. Whether this data is collected based on the all the parameters or not. Whether it is trusted data or not. If something we are receiving, suppose after 2 days or within this week, after 2 days, one movie is going to release on OTT platform. Okay, is it believable one or not? Some sites will give accurate exact results, then that is a believable one. But some channels or some channels we won't trust to believe such kind of information. Not only that, nowadays we are receiving uh, many reports to COVID, isn't it? So whether those are all true or not, how much frankness is there within that records? Like that, you are going to place, if somebody is released that records, means you may trust. If it is from hospitals or from some news channels or newspapers is going to produce the records of that this today's scenario, means we can trust, but not all the people, I mean all the channels information, isn't it? That is the believability. Next, interpretability, which means the data whichever we have within our hand, okay, so that should be a understandable one, that should be read by a normal people also. It is not in the form of okay, a coding language or encrypted data or in some other formats. If the data is available in such formats, it's not useful for all the people, isn't it? So the data whichever is available, the data should be a readable and understandable one in nature. Okay, which data has these kind of measures, the data is qualitative data. So to provide the quality of the raw data, we are going to apply data pre-processing techniques here to provide the data quality on the data, on the raw data whichever we have. Okay, to get this one, we are going to apply the data pre-processing techniques on that raw data. Clear? So what are the tasks in data pre-processing? So as we know that here we are to apply the data pre-processing technique. Here we are having major tasks, 4 major tasks. First one is data cleaning, data integration, data reduction, data transformation, and data discretization. These are all the major techniques or major tasks in data pre-processing. Let us discuss one by one in next slides. First, what is the first one? First one is the now we are going to discuss about data cleaning. What is data cleaning here? And why do we go for a data cleaning technique, and how to how to use this data cleaning technique on the raw data? This is now we are going to learn now. And data cleaning is a data mining process. Okay, it is a process of detecting and removing. Data cleaning is a process of detecting and removing corrupted, inaccurate records from the record set or a table or a database. Okay, if you have a table of data, right, within that you are going to identify the faults of, identify the incorrect data or corruption data, and you are going to remove that particular data from that table. That is called a data cleaning here, right? We are going to identify or detecting and removing the corrupted, inaccurate records from a record set or from a table or from a database. This is called a data cleaning here, right? So actually, corrupted data means what? What is corrupted data or inaccurate data? Data corruption or inaccuration means what? Okay, here we are going to discuss the few subheadings. First one is the data should be a incomplete one. Incomplete one in the sense there may be a missing of data. For example, see the example here. Here you have a attribute. That attribute is occupation. This occupation is equal to nothing. Here nothing is there, which means it is a incomplete data, or otherwise it is called a missing data. Not only a occupation, if you will take the result of a student, okay, if you will identify the result of a student, maybe a empty, that particular what cell is empty, then that kind of data is called incomplete or missing data. Okay, and second one is noisy data. Noisy data in the sense it contains errors, or it should be a replaced with some wrong values. For example, here if you observe the salary equal to always the salary, in the form of positive values, but here we have represented as -10. Okay, this is also the minus value, and 10 is also an error here. This kind of data is called noisy data. Noisy data is a containing noise or errors or outliers within it. Okay. Next, third one is inconsistent one. The data is inconsistent one, which means it's contain maybe discrepancies in order or some duplicates you have, which means if you'll observe this below example, the age is represented age equal to one student age, I mean one employee age equal to 42 years. But if you will observe the beside column, the birthday column, this birthday column has the date of birth is like this. Is it correct data? If somebody is born in 2010, what is the age for today? It may be almost literally 11 years. But how many years are represented here? 42 years. Is it correct one? No, isn't it? So this is inconsistent. Okay, sometimes, if you want to, nowadays, you are going to receive your results in the form of some ratings, which means alphabets, O outstanding, A, B, C, D, like that. But instead of that, if you will receive 1, 2, 3 means, is it correct information? Correct data? No. Okay. Nowadays, the students are receiving the results in the form of grades, isn't it? A, B, C, D, like that. But instead of that, if you will get 1, 2, 3 like that, is it a correct data? No. It's a some error. Not only that, maybe if you may have duplicate records also, that is also coming under a inconsistent data, isn't it? Next one is intentional one. Intentional data in the sense distinguished missing data, which means here you are going to represent somebody's each and one table of data. Right? So here everybody's data birth is represented in January 1st means it's not a correct one, isn't it? So these are the different kind of errors or inaccurate information which is available in database. Okay, to clean this, here we are having some methods. See, first one, some of the data cleaning methods if the data is incomplete. Okay, if we have the data is incomplete or missing data, so to overcome this, here we are having some data cleaning methods. What is the first one? The first method is ignore the tuple. What is the meaning of here? Tuple in the sense a row data. Already you know that. What is a tuple here? A single record or a single row data is called a tuple here. What we have to do there? Here we should ignore that tuple data. What is the meaning of that? Suppose this is the one table data we have. Within that, the student ID, first student doesn't has any name, any father name, age and phone number, isn't it? Okay, it's a completely nothing is there within this first record, isn't it? If you have this kind of records within your database, then this ignore or remove this kind of rows or tuples from the database. That is the meaning of first point. And coming to the second point, you can fill the missing values manually. You may fill some missing values manually, which means, for example, if you'll observe the phone column, all students phones should be you have represented by using null. Okay, automatically the fifth student record also here you'll observe this is just empty, nothing is there within this. So then automatically you can fill manually. This is also by using just null. Okay, or otherwise sometimes or in some tables you may have uh, some students, you may miss some students pin numbers, area pin numbers. So whoever have the same area, whoever from the same area also, you can automatically you can fill manually, you can fill that pin numbers manually or zip codes manually. No need of ask that particular person. If you know the area of that particular person, then you can fill manually, isn't it? So here also you can fill manually just by by writing null. This is the second point. Coming to the third point, you can replace the all missing attribute values with global constant. Okay, if you don't know the thing, then you may use either unknown or not applicable or not known, such kind of global answers. Okay, for example, here if you'll observe, the student legendary, his father name we don't know. The legendary's father name we don't know. In such a cases, you are going to write here unknown. If you don't know the father name of legendary, then you should fill this particular column with unknown tag, or otherwise NA, not applicable. With some, these are some global constants to fill the missing values, isn't it? And coming to the fourth one, you can use the attribute mean to fill the missing values. You are going to calculate mean to fill the missing value. For example, here you have the all the students' age. Okay, from 2 to 10, all the students' age you have. So in such a case, you don't know the age of some, right? Okay, seventh student, then what you are going to do here, you are going to calculate the mean for this age column, by adding all students age, and after getting a mean value, then you are going to fill that with that particular value. For example, it may be a 21 or 22, means you are going to fill that particular cell with the 21, right? So this is calculation of mean for that particular column. Automatically you will get some approximate value, approximate age to this particular student, isn't it? That is the fourth one. Coming to the last one, use the most probable value to fill the missing value. Most probable value means sometimes we can estimate or we can assess which kind of value here it is missed. So you can fill with that. For example, see here, observe this table. Within that, you have 1 to 10 numbers. You have 1 to 10 student ID numbers. Within it, here the some number is missing. Okay, some 8 number is missing. You should fill up this 8th number by using some probable value in between 7 and 9. Automatically, you will get the number 8, isn't it? So this is the fifth one, right? This is about the, if you have incomplete data in your table, in the by following these 5 points, you may fill your data. Is it clear? Coming to the next one. Suppose if you have noisy data and how to handle this noisy data. So for handling this noisy data, here we are having 3 techniques. First one, binning, regression, and outliers detection. Coming to the first one, binning technique. In this binning technique, whatever the data sets you have, you should be sort the data and partition the data into a equal bins. Okay, for example, here you have your data price data, this is your price data. 4, 8, 15, 21, 21, 24, 25, 28, 25. It is already sorted data. Okay, this data should be, okay, divided into equal number of bins. Equal number of bins means here total we have 9 values, right? So you can be split these 9 values into bin A has 4, 8, 15, bin B 21, 21, 24, bin C is 25, 28, 24. Okay, in this, so this is equally partitioned your data into a number of bins. After this, after doing this, you are going to find the means. Okay, we're going to find the means. So mean of a first bin 4, 8, 15. The mean of 4, 8, 15 is 9. And the mean of bin 2, bin B is, the mean is 22. And here you are going to bin C is 29. Okay. So after calculating this, if any record is missed or something, some errors you have, you can replace those values by filling these mean values, isn't it? Not only with this, you may calculate by using boundaries, bin boundaries. Okay, either you can fill the data, error data by replacing these bin values, or otherwise by doing or by including boundary values. Boundary values means what is the boundary of bin A? Here we are having two boundaries. Okay, minimum boundary is 4, maximum boundary is 15, isn't it? See, minimum boundary is 4, maximum boundary is 15. Always here we should consider the minimum boundary, that is 4. And also for second bin also the boundaries are 21 and 24. Third bin boundary values are 25 and 34. Within these, if you identify these